Hello YouTube, it's me, your boy, B3, back with another graphic novel review. Yeah, that's the way it goes. We got a crossover today. I've done crossovers before. I've done Green Lantern crossovers before. But today we have Planet of the Apes, Green Lantern, the crossover. Ooh la la. So I think it's Boom Studios in DC, right? Is it Boom? Yeah, it's Boom. I really like Boom Studios, actually. I've read a lot of Boom books. I've reviewed a lot of Boom books already, and I'll be reviewing a lot of Boom books soon. I actually recently reviewed a Boom book. Power Rangers, or no, Go-Go Power Rangers Volume 1, that's what it was. Hold on. Whew. Camera was going to die. Okay, so I'm going to read you the back of the book here. See no evil, hear no evil. There exists a ring, a universal ring that wields the strength of the entire Lantern spectrum, too powerful for any one being. The Guardians had no choice but to erase it from the Book of Oa and bury it in another universe, deep within the Forbidden Zone, on the planet of the Apes. But the ring has been unearthed by Cornelius, spelling destruction for his world and theirs. Now Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns will have to find Sinestro, bent on claiming the ring for himself, and stop him once and for all. From Robbie Thompson, writer Justin Jordan, and artist Barnaby Bagenda, comes a universe-spanning epic that pits Lantern against Ape in the ultimate fight for power. So, here's what up, homie. Here's what up. Sinestro uses magic to kill a member of each Lantern Corps, including Saint Walker, who was the last Blue Lantern, to use magic to burst a hole into this universe where the Planet of the Apes existed so that he could go there and collect the Universal Ring. A ring that was hidden on that planet. So the Universal Ring, what that is, right? If you haven't read Green Lanterns, there's a ring called the Phantom Ring, and it can access every power of the emotional spectrum, but it can only access one color at a time. Whatever emotion the person who's using the ring feels, that's the power they can use, right? That's how it works. But it's also kind of corrupting, and those emotions control you, and it's almost impossible to control the Phantom Ring. Well, the Universal Ring is an attempt to recreate the Phantom Ring that went even more wrong. The Universal Ring compels its wearer to create more Universal Rings for others to wear so that it can build an army, and later you see more of its power, because later in the story, the Universal Ring, once it's fully tapped into and accessed, makes them look white, and they have like lightning that's the different colors of the spectrum coming off their body, and like a triangle on their chest, and they can suck the life force out of anyone, the power of the ring. Also, another power of the Universal Ring, it drains other rings around it to power itself. It drains all the rings pretty equally. I feel like it wouldn't work on Black Lantern rings the same way, probably, because they're not powered by light. And it works on Red Lantern rings differently because they're forged a different way than other rings. So it weakens Red Lanterns, but it doesn't stop the Red Lanterns, but it drains the other ones. Luckily, there are devices that can be worn to keep the rings from being drained. So Hal fights Sinestro. They end up falling into the Planet of the Apes. And it turns out what the Planet of the Apes is a time loop. The world is trapped in a time loop, right? So everything in the Planet of the Apes happens. And then, you remember that Planet of the Apes movie? It's been a long time since I've seen it. I don't remember which one it is. Where two of the apes go back in time and then have the baby for the ape that causes the ape uprising in the first place. So the only reason the Planet of the Apes existed is because the Planet of the Apes existed. Yeah. Paradox shit. So that creates a time loop that keeps this world just looping in time. And it's been accidentally accessed before in the original Planet of the Apes movie, which I'm sure you've all seen. At least that one, I'm sure. I've seen most of them. But not all of them. So, you get that. And then, Hal and Sinestro end up on that planet, and they get all their power drained by the ring, which is being worn by Cornelius. And several characters die in this, but it's not main continuity for either Planet of the Apes or Green Lantern. I will say this, however, the only movie you really need to see from Planet of the Apes to understand it is the first one. You'll get the time loop stuff better if you watch that other one. But, so there's really only one or two Planet of the Apes movies you really need to watch to understand this book. But when this book was written, it jumped off right where Green Lantern was. So all the Green Lantern continuity that had taken place when this book was written is all canon up to that point. So all the Green Lanterns with Jessica and Simon, all of Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps from Rebirth, all of that up to the point where this book was written was canon. So Guy Gardner had already been a Red Lantern and all this stuff. There were obviously some changes, like one of the Red Lanterns appeared that I know for a fact is dead, the squid one, whose name I can't remember. I know he's dead because I just reviewed the book that he died in, Red Lanterns Volume 4. But he was in this book, and that didn't make sense. But also, alternate dimension, who the hell cares? But, so if you're not caught up on Green Lantern, this might be really confusing on the Green Lantern side. But if you haven't seen any Planet of the Apes stuff in several years, you'll be fine. It doesn't matter. You really only need to see the first one to get this book. And if you haven't seen the first one, you should watch it anyways, because it's a great film. It's a great film. So Cornelius gets this ring. He finds this tribe of humans in the Forbidden Zone that are like sidekick, kinda, and they worship this old missile that brought the ring to the place, and he uses it to create more rings, blah, blah, blah. The rings start copying himself. He starts to make an army, and then the Green Lanterns have to go access it, and it turns out the Guardians hid it there and then isolated that planet from the rest of time and space, which is why the Planet of the Apes is weird and not, which is why it has weird time rules. They do all that. They fight. Lots of the other Green Lanterns go get Gorilla Grodd from the Suicide Squad, and they take him. Well, they get him from Bel Rev, not really the Suicide Squad, but they get him, and they take him there. So he's like, he'll be useful. He's a talking ape. It'll work out. And then Grodd's like, haha, fuck you. I'm gonna take over this world with my psychic powers, bitch. But Grodd dies. And Cornelius sacrifices himself in the end to destroy that ring so Sinestro can't have it, and so the rest of the apes, the totalitarian apes, can't have it. But what he actually does is ends up accidentally teleporting himself, what looks like, into the world of DC, or at least the DC world that these specific lanterns are from in the multiverse. DC's always like, oh, there are only 52 worlds, but then there's like way more than 52 worlds. Like, fuck you. But, yeah, so I'm not trying to tell you everything in the story. One, because you should read it yourself. It's not a bad book. I do have some complaints. Well, art is fantastic and the writing is good, and they knew the continuity well for both Green Lantern and Planet of the Apes. It is rushed. All crossovers like this are rushed, though. They all have a feeling that they're rushed. I've done 2 Star Trek Green Lantern crossovers. They both felt kind of rushed. I've done a, what was that other crossover I did? Justice League, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That one felt kind of rushed, too. And they all set themselves up for sequels that may or may not ever come. Because this one, there was another human who they were interrogating at the end. The apes were interrogating, and we weren't sure exactly who it was. And as I said, Cornelius ended up in the DC universe at the end when he thought he sacrificed himself. So the Universal Ring is like still out there. Sinestro's trying to get to it and everything. So maybe we'll see another one. Maybe there is another one, and I just don't know about it. Because I went to buy the Kong on the Planet of the Apes crossover, the King Kong Planet of the Apes crossover, and this was a recommended, and this book was $1.99 on Kindle, and I was like, yeah, sure, $1.99. I love Planet of the Apes. I love Green Lantern. Let's fuck it up, Kenneth. I'll get it for sure. So I got that, and it just finished downloading before the Kong one did, so that's why I read it first. But yeah, it's a good book, great art. The writers understood the characters, and I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Fun book. So that is all. Thank you very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. Next time, I don't know what we'll be reviewing next time, because I don't know if I want to read something off my Kindle for next time, or if I want to do one of my physical books, because I have so many physical books to do. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. Maybe we'll do Batman and Robin. Maybe we'll do Detective Comics. Maybe a Deadpool versus miniseries. Maybe we'll just do that Kong Planet of the Apes one. I feel like I don't want to do a DC next time. Even though this one's only half DC, I've been doing a lot of DC recently. And I just bought 2 more DC books too. I just got the 2018 Man of Steel, and I also got the Multiversity Grant Morrison on Kindle. The Multiversity was 150% off. That doesn't make any sense, but it was 150% off. Woo! So yeah, that's it. Tell me in the comments what type of books you want me to do. I'll give you a list and tell me what you want to see next. Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, Batman and Robin, the Grant Morrison one, New 52 Detective Comics, Deadpool vs. Carnage, Green Lantern's Rebirth, Deadpool vs. Thanos, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps Rebirth, The Flash Rebirth, Batman Detective Comics Rebirth, Superman Rebirth, Batman and the Signal, Venom, or Action Comics Rebirth. Which one do you want to see next? Let me know. I'll try to figure it out. Or any of the ones I mentioned for Kindle also. Just anything. I have so many books. You could just name a comic and I might have it. Especially if it's DC. So that's it. Thank you all once again for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll see you all next time. Peace.